Hi, my name is Chris Garrettson, and this is a video recording the events of a competition known as the Spring Fling 2011. For this competition, I'm partnered up with Sajith, a funny guy. And so, what we're going to be doing in this video, or for the competition, is that we're supposed to build an apparatus where we launch a spring off of a ramp and try to get into a bucket. And when you get in the bucket, you get points and things like that. So, throughout the course of this video, you might see my hair change size a few times because it was taken over a period of a few weeks and days and things like that. But before we get into the video, I'm just going to have to explain a few concepts so you understand the physics behind whatever's going on.
So as you heard me say before, what we would do is launch a spring off of a ramp. So how does physics relate, you might ask? Well, there are two main ways that physics might relate to launching a spring off of a ramp. The first way is with the concept of projectile motion. Projectile motion is where an object is launched by a force which discontinues after the object has been launched. Okay, let me give you an example of this. Say we get a ramp, and then we put a ball on this ramp, and then we give the ball a force in the direction of the arrow. You don't need me to tell you that the ball will follow a curved path until it hits whatever surface that the ramp is sitting on. Okay, now say we replace the ball with a spring and attach it to the ramp and stretch it so that the spring will retract and thus accelerate off of the ramp. The spring, undergoing projectile motion at this point, will travel similarly to the ball in a curved path. This brings me to the second concept, the law of conservation of energy, which states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred from one form to another, and the total amount of energy will never change. There are a few types of energy that can be considered in this situation. One is kinetic energy, which is movement energy. Movement energy is governed by this equation. EK, which means energy kinetic, is equal to the mass multiplied by the velocity squared, all divided by 2. The mass here would be the mass of the spring, and the velocity would be the velocity at which the spring is traveling once it leaves the ramp. The second type of energy that can be considered here is gravitational energy. Gravitational energy is energy of an object due to its height above the Earth and the force of gravity acting upon it. Gravitational energy is governed by the equation Eg, which is the gravitational energy, is equal to the mass multiplied by gravity multiplied by the height above the Earth. Another energy that can be considered is elastic potential energy. When a spring is stretched or compressed, work has been done. Work must be done in order to cause the stretch or compression. Thus, a force must be applied over a certain distance. This is known as elastic potential energy. Elastic energy is governed by the equation EE is equal to K multiplied by x squared, all divided by 2. K is known as the spring constant. Each and every single spring has its own spring constant, and x is the distance that the spring is stretched or compressed. Now, using the concepts of projectile motion and the law of conservation of energy, you can derive an equation that will fit perfectly with our situation. The equation is x is equal to the square root of the mass multiplied by the distance that the object would be traveling, then multiplied by gravity, all divided by k multiplied by the sine of 2 theta, where theta is the angle of the ramp.
Now finally that that's over and done with, we can finally get on with the real story. I hope you're ready.